So I want to talk a little about tracking technologies and the REALID that's coming out May 8th, 2008. It's very real. It is coming. It's already been approved. They're already issuing IDs. They're already in use all over the world. REALID is going to have what's called a radio frequency identifier tag in it. They're already in our passports. They're in a lot of the products we use. They're in everything we buy at most stores that cost over about $5. And what they do is, as you pass by a reader, the reader emits a radio wave which hits that tag and then causes it to emit a second radio wave that contains its ID. What's important about this is that these readers are going to be all over the place. Every store will have a reader because it's the same readers they already use for theft protection, for inventory control. So it's just going to be expanding upon that one more level. But what's scarier is this is an intermediate step for human chipping, which is already happening at some levels. Well, at first this may seem like a good idea because of all the identity thefts. It's actually a really bad idea, because what it does is, like lately I've been speaking out a lot against the government's policies and things that I question that the government is doing for my own good. I'm doing this because I have no fear. I'm dying. Everybody knows I'm dying. So it's like, go ahead, kill me. It's like, you've only shortened my life by a few years. I don't have any children, and my family gets the life insurance money anyway. So, win-win. But like all tracking technologies that have been introduced in recent years, there's both good and bad. And a lot of these tracking technologies we've insisted upon for ourselves. Cell phones. A few years back, we all remember the story of the little girl in the car trunk that got kidnapped, and they found her only because of her cell phone. And they had like 3 of these in like a 6-month period where people were saved by their cell phone. So we all insisted on this E911 feature. And then we all thought that, we could shut it off. Like, mine's supposed to be off. But this last year, I found a deer that had been hit up on the highway. So of course I called 911 because I didn't want another car coming around and hitting such a large animal, knowing that it would probably kill the person in the car, and the animal was already suffering. It didn't need to be hit again. And I offered to stay so that the cop could find me and the animal easier. And she's like, oh, that's not necessary. We already know where you're at. I'm 15 miles away from a town in rural Nebraska, and they know where I'm at. 15 miles in rural Nebraska. What does that say for being in the city? Everybody also knows that shortly after they got us to allow the tracking in it, that they started tracking other people for insurance fraud, for racketeering, drug dealing, you name it. They started using these to start tracking people down. The same holds true but it's just your car keys. My truck is 8 years old, and it has a modified OnStar system in it. After I bought it, I drove across the California state line, and it shut itself off and started honking the horn and flashing the lights. Locked me in. So of course that drew the police's attention really fast, since I'm on the interstate highway. And the one notices the in-transit tags and comes over and tells me, oh, they forgot to shut the anti-theft on it. Well, that was a good use of it, because, yeah, it's like now I know that if my truck's ever stolen, I can have it disabled from the satellite. But who else can have it disabled from the satellite? Blackwater, because you do know that eventually I'm going to piss somebody off with these videos, and Blackwater is going to be beating at my door, and you can bet I won't be able to use that truck to get away if I want to, and I haven't done anything wrong. I'm exercising my First Amendment right to free speech and my right to challenge the government and ask for redress of specific grievances. I don't believe any of what's going on right now is in any of our best interests. I think it's all in the bank's best interests. I think our country is being run by the banks and the corporations. And soon, Blackwater's going to step in as their enforcement, and they're going to start knocking on doors. And if you got that chip in your hand or your real ID and you piss the government off like I've been doing lately, they're going to cut you off. They're going to shut that chip off. You ain't going to be able to buy food, buy a roof over your head for the night, buy food for your family, provide for yourself until you turn yourself in to get that chip reactivated. And like people like me, where we've done nothing wrong other than we're asking the government, hey, what are you doing? This doesn't seem right. You're going to have to turn yourself in. Does that sound very free to you? Sounds like Nazi Germany to me. Papers, please. Watch out for your freedoms, people. Don't give them away thinking you're getting something good, because you ain't. They're going to take it from you. And then they're going to use it against you. And you're going to be so fucking miserable, you're going to wish you were dead, and there ain't going to be no way of checking out of this place. Me? I'm gone. That's why I can talk this way. I know I'm dying. So, I'm looking out for you guys. I'm wanting you guys to question your freedoms. And if they're still going to be there in 5 years. Because I don't care, I ain't going to be here. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. So, look out for yourself.